Hello students, my name is Shaina Gupta. I am an assistant professor in RPIIT Medical and Technical Campus. Today the topic I am going to discuss with you is the managerial economics. In this topic, we are going to discuss about the definition, the nature and types of the managerial economics. Let's start with the definition of the managerial economics. What is managerial economics? Managerial economics is a stream of management studies which emphasizes solving business problems and decision making by applying the theories and principles of microeconomics and macroeconomics. It is a specialized stream dealing with the organization's internal issue by using various economic theories. Economics is an inevitable part of any business. All the business assumptions, their forecastings, and investments are based on this single concept. Now let's go through with the nature of the managerial economics. These are the 7 natures, or we can say the characteristics of the managerial economics. If we want to know more about the managerial economics, we must know about the various characteristics of the managerial economics. Let's take these characteristics one by one. The very first point that we will discuss is arts and science. Managerial economics requires a lot of logical thinking and creative skills for decision making, or we can say for the problem solving. It also considered to be a stream of science by some economists, claiming that it involves the application of different economic principles, techniques and methods to solve the business problems. That's why it is an art as well as an science. The second point is microeconomics. In managerial economics, manager generally deals with the problem related to a single or a particular organization instead of the whole economy. Therefore, it is considered to be a part of microeconomics. Next, uses macroeconomics. Every business functions within its external environment. That is, it serves to the market, which is a part of economy as a whole. Therefore, it is very essential for the managers to analyze the different factors of microeconomics, such as market conditions, economic reforms, government policies, political stability, etc., and their impact on the organization. Next point is multidisciplinary. Managerial economics uses many tools and principles that belongs to the various disciplines, such as accountancy, finance, statistics, mathematics, operation research, marketing, etc. That's why it's a multidisciplinary. Then it's a prescriptive or normative discipline. Managerial economics aims at goal achievement and deals with practical situations or problems by implementing corrective measures. Next point, it is a management oriented. Managerial economics acts as the tool in the hand of managers to deal with the business related problems and uncertainties appropriately. It provides for the goal establishments, policy formulations, and effective decision making. The last, managerial economics is pragmatic. Why it is pragmatic? Because it is practical and logical towards the day-to-day business problems. That's why it is pragmatic. These are the basic characteristics or natures of the managerial economics. Now let's discuss the principles of the managerial economics. The great macroeconomist N. George Manquin has given 10 principles that explains the significance of the managerial economics in the business operations. The following principles are classified as these. First one, principles of how people make decisions. Under it, there are 4 principles. Then principles of how people interact, 3 principles, and then principle of how economic works as a whole. Again, it has 3 principles. So let's discuss them one by one. Let's start with the principles of how people make decisions. Now, if we want to understand how the decision making takes place in a real life, we should go through these principles. The first one is people face trade-offs. Now, to make a decision, people have to make choices where they have to select among the various options that are available to them. Then, opportunity cost. Every decision involves an opportunity cost, which the cost of those options which we let go while selecting the most appropriate one. That means, in simple terms, the cost that arises because we leave something out, that is called the opportunity cost. Rational people think at the margin. People usually think about the margin or the profit that they will earn before investing their money or resources in a particular project or a person. Next, people responds to incentives. Decision making highly depends upon the incentives associated with the product, service, or an activity. Negative incentives will discourage the people, whereas the positive incentives motivates them. Then next set of the principles of how people interact. Communication and market affects business operations. To justify, let's take these related principles. First one, trade can make everyone better off. This principle says that trade is the medium of exchange among the people. Everyone gets a chance to offer those products or services which they are good at making and purchase those goods and services those other makes better. That means there is a trade-off. Then comes markets are usually a good way to organize economic activities. Market mostly acts as a medium of interaction among the consumers and the producers. The consumer express their needs and requirements, that is means their demands, whereas the producer decides whether to produce those goods and services which are required or not. Next, government can sometimes improve market outcomes. Now, government intervenes business operations when the market conditions are unfavorable or when the government has to take a decision regarding the welfare of the society. One very such example is the minimum wage rate, where the labor welfare is considered by the government for fixing the minimum wage rate. Now let's discuss the next sets of principles. These are the principles of how economy works as a whole. Now the following principles will explain the role of economy in the functioning of an organization. The very first principle under it says a country's standard of living depends on its ability to produce goods and services. Now, for the growth of the economy of a country, the organizations must be efficient enough to produce the goods and services within the economy. Then those finished goods, or we say the most production, will ultimately meet the consumer's demand and improves the GDP of the country. Now, the raised or improved GDP of the country will raise the standard of the living of the people of the country. So to raise the standard of living, the ability to produce is required. Price rises when the government prints too much money. If there is a surplus of a money available to the people, what will happen? Their spending capacity will rise, or we say increase. Ultimately, when we have the spending capacity increases, the demand for commodities will rise. That will lead to the rise in the demand. When now the demand has risen, now if the producers are not able to meet the consumers demand, what will happen? The inflation will take place, and that is the rise in the prices. Last, society faces a short run trade off between inflation and unemployment. Now, what the government do to reduce the unemployment? Government will bring in some economic policies and put them into the action. Now, the aim of these policies is to boost the economy in a short run. So, what will happen in a long run? These practices will lead to the inflation in a long run. These are the basic principles of managerial economics. That's all for today. If you liked my video, please like and share. And please do subscribe the RPIIT Academics channel. Thank you.